Shine, everyone. It is 6:01 here on our Finally Friday. I'm Jason Hackett. Alicia has the morning off. As you saw there, got a lot to get to, but let's start with Ben, who's in for John this morning, and a relatively cooler day ahead.
Yeah, it's all relative, right? Low to mid 70s would probably feel pretty good in March or like mid-October or something like that. But today it is going to be seasonably cool. Temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than average today. And yes, we do expect some rain showers to show up as well. It doesn't look overly wet right now. I think most of your morning commute should be dry, but I think the best chance for rain is going to be mid to late morning, and that'll stretch into the afternoon hours as well. Mostly cloudy conditions this morning with a current temperature of 67 degrees. We've got a light westerly breeze, less than 10 miles per hour, and your hour-by-hour forecast does show those rain showers, those rain chances showing up after 8 o'clock this morning. So if you're driving around midday, plan on a showery day, and again, cooler than average. A mostly dry weekend, and we should stay quiet into next week. 80 degrees back in the forecast by Sunday. We'll talk about how long that sticks around in your forecast coming up. But first, let's toss it indoors to Cece.
Good morning. Happy Friday. That stalled vehicle situation on 35 East southbound that was slowing some things down in Mendota Heights cleared just minutes ago. So if you're headed towards Eagan, you should have a pretty smooth drive right now. If we take a look at the bigger metro, things looking pretty great still. The crashes and stalled vehicles, other than the 35E one that I've been tracking for the past 30 minutes, seem to have died down a little bit. So again, things all green. Skipping over to some drive times if you're traveling between Minneapolis and St. Paul on 94, things to be looking pretty good in that area. 7 minutes either way. More on construction when I see you next. Jason.
All right, Cece, thank you very much. We are following breaking news south of the metro. Just minutes ago, we learned a 23-year-old woman died in this crash on I-35 in Newmarket. They tell us the crash happened around 11:30. According to the State Patrol, the woman was on a motorcycle and hit a guardrail. We are tracking new developments right now in a massive apartment fire in downtown Minneapolis earlier this week. Fire crews will be back on scene in just a few hours after finding 2 bodies buried in the debris. Michelle Beck is live on scene where they'll resume their search again this morning. Michelle.
Well, Jason, certainly this is not the update that we wanted to hear. I want you to look at what remains of the apartment here behind me. In the last 15 hours, we've learned fire crews found 2 bodies on the 4th floor under the rubble of the collapsed roof. Firefighters will be here again this morning, making sure there aren't any more victims. The discovery of the 2 bodies didn't come until the fire was roughly 40 hours old. MFD says it revived rescue efforts when it got word 1 resident was missing. This new cell phone video shows just how destructive the fire was. It sent 4 people to the hospital and displaced 30. And I want to take it back to when crews were in the thick of putting out the fire. The assistant fire chief told us at the time firefighters didn't hear anyone say they were missing someone.
They believe they evacuated and did searches of all the floors, and then what they do is they go back in and do a secondary search. So they were able to do, I believe, immediate search. And then all residents were stated to be, accounted.
And this morning, we're learning a lot about the people who used to live in these apartments. They have new video of the destruction. I have that they have showed us, plus the insight from them about what's next for them as they try to move forward from all this loss. Jason.
Those poor people, incredibly tragic stuff. Michelle, thank you. New overnight, St. Paul police tell us a 15-year-old is recovering this morning after being shot in the Dayton's Bluff neighborhood. This happened around 7 hours ago near Beach and North Mendota. Police confirmed with us someone walked up to a home and shot the teen in the arm and the leg. The shooter is on the run. No word yet what led up to that shooting. Just into the newsroom in the last 60 minutes, Maplewood police confirmed the BCA is taking over a homicide investigation. Take a look at the scene here around 8 last night at a home near Elm Street and County Road C. Maplewood's police sergeant tells us when officers arrived, they found 1 man dead. All we know right now is the death was gun-related. So far, there are no leads and no one is in custody. More information is expected to come out later today. And staying in Maplewood, an update this morning to a breaking story we first told you about yesterday on Sunrise. A 34-year-old woman is now in custody facing murder charges after a hit and run. This happened Wednesday night before 9:30 on Larpenteur Avenue. Police say the hit and run started with a fight between 2 groups of women. 23-year-old Zakira Anderson died at the hospital. A 22-year-old from St. Paul was also injured, but is expected to be okay. We need to catch you up on a story developing at MSP Airport right now. In the last 6 hours, we've learned Sun Country flight attendants are threatening to walk off the job. Audrey Russo is live from MSP this morning. And Audrey, you've been making calls and sending out emails. What can you tell us?
Well, Jason, I can start with some good news for travelers, and that's at this point right now, there's been no disruption to the schedules. We haven't seen any canceled flights. It was only around dinner time last night that this union, representing 600 Sun Country flight attendants, actually voted to authorize this strike. So no one has walked off the job yet, but it could escalate to that point if the airline doesn't reach an agreement with the union on a new contract. So how did we all get here? Rewind back to 2016, that is the last time the union says their flight attendants have had any kind of wage adjustment. They say that it really is all about pay. The Sun Country flight attendants want to make sure that they are earning what their counterparts working for other airlines are earning. And we've reached out to Sun Country for their side of the story, have not heard back as of this moment. But the last time there was an airline strike that resulted in workers walking off the job was in 2010, and that involved Spirit Airlines. And there's a reason why it's been quite a bit of time since that's happened. It actually all comes down to a federal law. I've got more details on that coming up in the next half hour, but for now, I'll send things back to you.
All right, Audrey, we'll talk to you at 6:30. Thank you very much. A major game changer this morning for millions of Americans on Medicare who could soon save thousands of dollars on their prescriptions. The federal government has negotiated lower prices for 10 of the most popular prescriptions. So starting in 2026, Medicare recipients will save up to 79% on these drugs. Senator Amy Klobuchar says it's the first time the federal government has been able to negotiate lower prices in more than 20 years.
These 10 drugs are only the beginning, and that's important to note. Within the next decade, under the law that we passed, 160 drugs will have lower negotiated prices.
The White House says the price cuts will affect more than 10 million prescriptions and will save Medicare recipients $1.5 billion in the first year.